Hello and welcome back. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, go ahead, subscribe, give it a like. If you are not new, do the same, but just don't subscribe. Just give it a like. So, if you could not tell by the title of today's video, this one has been in the works, I want to say for like 8 months, because I had to stock up on as many tubing like advertised as tubing mascaras as possible, because I wanted to do like the most comprehensive tubing mascara I could do. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and give a disclaimer. I already know this does not include every single one, either because A, I've reviewed them in the past, or B, like I just was not willing to spend $35, $40, whatever it was to get the product, either because it was hard to get or it was just very expensive. I do have to draw the line somewhere. Also, there are going to be new ones that come out after I film this and post this, so, you know, I can only do what I can do. Actually, one new one came out just about a week before I was going to film, so I pushed it back again just so I could get that, and I'm glad I did, but I cannot continue to keep doing that forever. So, disclaimer, if you're like, why isn't this in it? That's probably why. But as new mascaras come out, or as people just request one over and over, I will do new videos with new mascaras, but it probably just won't be like a comprehensive all-in-one video, but you know, I'll do what I can. So I'm not gonna talk anymore. I'm gonna just jump in, and what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be applying them on my eye, because I think that is the most important part. I will let you know if they are a tubing mascara, because a lot of the times it is advertised as tubing, and in my opinion, it's not always. I'm not going to show me rinsing it off, but I will let you know, of course, if it is tubing or not. And then I'm also gonna kind of go by some criteria that I have. So I'm gonna tell you, is it A, defining? Does it like define each little lash? Is it B, volumizing? Obviously you know what that means. Is it C, natural? I guess that kind of goes with the volume. Like if it's voluminous, it's probably not natural, that kind of thing. Does it curl or hold a curl? And then I went from A to 5. I guess A, B, C, D, E. E is it easy to remove? Is it a tubing mascara? So those are kind of the 5 criteria that I'm going off of today, and I will cover that in each and every one. I'm gonna be doing one on one eye, a different on the other, rinse that off, do the next, because I have 22 mascaras to get through. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I will have timestamps below of every single one. So if you are only here for a specific mascara, just check the timestamps, you can go to that. And then at the end, I'm gonna be wrapping up kind of with my top 5 and worst 5 and maybe like a few other things. So let's get going. I hope this is not 18 hours long. All right, we're going through them now. So the first one we have is L'Oreal Double Extend. This is a tried and true, will always be in my collection, drugstore, affordable, accessible, all the things. The downsides are that it does have 2 ends, so you get a little bit less on especially like the black tubing side, but I do find that the primer side does help quite a bit. But you know, it's an extra step, so that's not always wanted. And then it only comes in black, but I would say most of these only come in black, so that's not that big of a downside. This is definitely going to give you more voluminous lashes. I love it. Again, tried and true, will always have. The next one I have is the Thrive Causemetics. Again, this should be no surprise. These 2 are going to be in my collection forever and always. This one does now come in 3 colors. I have it in the shade brown. The shade is actually called Crystal, but it comes in black, brown, and then I think a new blue, which I'm not gonna be purchasing personally, but cool that they have it. This one is definitely going to be a heavier one. The good thing about the L'Oreal is it's actually pretty light and like fluffy, but also voluminous. That's why it's so great. This one I have heard a lot of people just can't use. It's too heavy on their lashes, and that will cause a little bit of drooping sometimes if you just don't have super curled lashes or they don't hold a curl. This one is not always the best in that case. But if you love it, you love it, and you will never use anything else unless you're me. But I have heard many, many times that it's just a bit too heavy. It also has a plastic brush, which a lot of people don't like, but then when they try this, it works really well. It's just something spectacular about the way the brush is made and the formula that for most people, I would say it's a really spectacular one and just gives you volume and definition for days. I guess these two are my favorites without actually like having to choose a favorite, because how can you choose a favorite when they're all your favorite children? So, you know. Next up, these two. So this one is Heimish. I had not heard of it before. It's a Korean brand. I'd heard of Heimish. They make a cleansing balm that I really love, but I had not heard of the tubing mascara before. So I got it on Amazon, pretty cheap, came quickly. It's a spectacular one. It has a normal bristle brush and it has a little bit of a curve to it, which I find actually gives you a lot of good volume. I don't think the end where it's a little bit more narrow is necessary to like get into the little corner in your eye, but hey, it works nonetheless. And this one just, it feels light, but it still gives you volume, which is not always the case with voluminous ones. I don't find that it clumps. The wand is just really nice. It's an overall great purchase and it comes off like a traditional tubing mascara. There's really not a lot that I can find wrong with this. And if you do want something more voluminous and tubing, but you don't like the plastic bristle, this is probably the one that I would recommend. After that we have Snapscara. Yes, you maybe are wondering, I thought, Dana, you did a video on the Maybelline Snapscara before. I did. I did it on the non-waterproof because I didn't know the waterproof one is the tubing mascara one, which doesn't make any sense because normally tubing mascara is the easiest to get off and waterproof is not. So like, yeah, that's why I didn't review it. But the waterproof one actually is tubing and it works like a tubing mascara. So that's a really cool find. And this one comes in, I think, like 4 or 5 shades. I have it in the shade brown, I believe, or like brownish black. And it also has a natural bristle wand, pretty similar to the Heimish, where you get a little bit of a curve, not a lot. And it's just more like a typical mascara. It feels like that, it doesn't clump. I don't necessarily reach for it all the time, but it's a really good one and a good option from the drugstore. So the ones that I've gone over so far, these two are the best in the drugstore for me. Okay, going back up high end, these are both available at Sephora. The first one I have is the Blinc Ultravolume. Now, I didn't include the other Blinc ones in this video just because they're all tubing mascaras and I have done videos on them and you can also find them online as well. But this one I have mixed feelings on because I've had really good experiences with it where it's just like pow, like people ask me what mascara I have on, and then other times where it just kind of like clumps on my lashes. So this one, I wouldn't say it's necessarily my favorite that I reach for it all the time. When I do want it is when I want like volume for days. I don't mind maybe if it's a little like clumpy, or if I want it to last without fail, no flaking, no anything. This is the one. This is the most, I would say that this is the longest lasting, mask proof. It doesn't matter if there's humidity or whatnot. This does the trick. So this one is also a natural bristle wand. It's kind of an interesting shape, and the first tube, this is my second tube of it, I think they put too much in the tube, so like it kind of came out and it was really problematic because the wand had just too much on it, so I couldn't get it on my eyes properly. But this one is better. I think they sorted that out. That's a very valuable thing to have, and if you do have a lot of issues with transfer or flaking, I would try this one. You can always, you know, return it if it really doesn't work for you. Now, the next one I have is the Velour, and this one has a natural wand as well. A little bit of a curve, not as much as, say, the Heimish one. This one is another like kind of love-hate. That's why I did these two at the same time. It will give you volume, more so than the definition. Same with this, of course, but it doesn't always make my lashes look good. Like sometimes I have to work at it for way too long, and then afterward I'm like, I could have just done that with like a $4 mascara. So it kind of like stumps me from time to time. It's not the one that I reach for when I don't have time, I need something to work. This is not the one I reach for. They say that it has like strengthening and conditioning properties to your lashes. I don't know if that's true, but you know. And both of these are 100% tubing. They come off like a dream. Next up, we have the Hourglass Unlocked. This is I was gonna say this is a tubing mascara, like, duh, Dana, they're all tubing, or they're supposed to be. Also, my shirt is falling. This is almost identical to the Thrive wand, and the formula is very similar as well. I find that this one is a little less thick of a formula though. So if you are somebody who has very light lashes and you just can't handle the thickness of the Thrive, I would say that this could be a good alternative for you. I don't find it to be super remarkable in any sort of way. I don't find that it's so volumizing or so defining. So it's kind of in the middle for me. I would not repurchase this one. If I'm gonna get one with this kind of wand, it would be the Thrive one. Now, a new one to me is the Lune Aster. This is the Eclipse Volumizing and Curling Mascara. So this one has a normal bristle wand, and it has quite a bit of formula on it, but it's not one of those ones where it's so much that it makes it clumpy. This one is spectacular. This is newer to me, and I had never heard of it, but I have been using and reaching for it all the time. I think it gives you quite a bit of curl. It does hold the curl because the formula is not too thick. The one thing I have found is if the thicker the formula is, the less it's going to hold the curl. For most people, not for all. So if that is an issue with you, I would definitely veer toward the side of having like a thinner, drier formula versus a wet, thick one. And this one would do the trick, in my opinion. It also gives me quite a bit of definition and volume, as opposed to the Hourglass, which gives me a little bit more definition as opposed to volume. Okay, next up is the Surratt. This one was pricey. I got it on Amazon, and it has a normal natural wand. It's very straight. It's all kind of a thinner wand, but like actually a long amount of bristles. And this one I really think is more like a fiber mascara than a tubing mascara, but it does come off like a tubing mascara. So that is cool, and I like that about it. The thing about it is it takes a long time for me to build this up. And even when I do build it up, I don't find that I have so much volume or such great definition. So it just kind of takes too much time for me. I also find that, especially with fiber mascaras where you can like see the little fiber, sometimes I'll get one on the end of my eyelash and it's like out. Like you can touch it if you are looking at my face. It's so far out there. It's kind of insane. So I don't love this one. I would not ever repurchase it, especially because it is so pricey. But you know, hey, if fiber or tubing mascaras are your thing, then that's your one. Next one I have is the Cali Ray. So this is called Come Hell or High Water, and this is like brand new. I had a few of these just come out right before the video, so I waited, bought them, tried them out, and I love this one. So it has almost the most natural wand out of any. They also come in a mini size, which love that, because then I can just purchase this, and then if I like it, I'll buy the big one, but if I don't, whatever. It's a smaller brand. I love what they're doing. They don't have a lot of products out, but I feel like this goes on like a normal mascara. If you just don't love the way that a lot of tubing mascaras, the wands are made, this one is gonna feel like your normal one. I've heard that some people have a harder time getting this off, like that it's not as tubing. I've not experienced that at all. Warm water usually does the trick for me, and then I always use a cleansing balm, so maybe that helps, but I've never had issues with it. People experience different things. All right, we're making our way through. The next one I have is the Kevyn Aucoin. What is this called? The Volume Mascara. I've had this one for a while, which means that it lasts quite a long time because not all of them do. And this one has maybe one of the thinnest ones. It is a natural bristle, not plastic. And at first I had a really hard time with this because I thought like this is not gonna give me any volume. And it's still kind of true. It doesn't give you the best volume. This one is definitely like a defining lash one. It will hold your curls longer because it is kind of a thinner, like drier formula. But the beauty of a wand that is so thin is you can really get to the base of your eyelash and just kind of like hold it and like swipe up. I don't know why I'm saying like so much. So this is a very pricey one. Kevyn Aucoin is a luxury brand, but it is a really spectacular one that I have kind of been reaching for more and more. I mean, I've had it for a long time now, but this one also really reminds me of the Trish McEvoy, which I did not include in this, which is kind of funny because Trish McEvoy was actually the very first tubing mascara I ever used. And they have two kinds. I think they still have both of them. And one of them is so similar to this. And then the other one has more of a fuller wand. But I think this and the Trish McEvoy are pretty much dupes for each other. So if you like one, you could probably go with the other and you would be fine. Okay, so from high-end to drugstore. This is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High. I've also done a video on this. I will link it above if you've not seen it. I love this one. This one just took off in 2021, I think. It has a rubber bristle wand. If you don't like rubber bristles, you're probably not gonna like this because it has a lot of bend. I find that to be super helpful because again, you can get to the base and kind of like hold your lash and then swipe, or you blink. I don't know, there's something about this. It gives me the best definition out of pretty much any of these, but not necessarily at the expense of losing all the volume. I can just tell it's either gonna be voluminous or it's gonna be defining. This one is a little bit of both, and I think it's because you are able to kind of boost it at the lash line, but that's just been my experience with it. Also, some people have said that this one is very hard to remove. I do have the waterproof one because I needed to pick up a mascara and I wanted a tubing one, so I thought that one would work. That one I do not like. That one is just waterproof, it's not tubing. But this one, other people have said it's hard, so I would recommend using a cleansing balm when you do want to remove pretty much any of these. Okay, we're getting into some controversy here. Like I said, I'm not going in order of most favorite to least favorite, but I kind of am just because I do like a more voluminous lash. So this one is the Victoria Beckham. What's it called? Future Lash. I don't love it. Ugh, so many people rave about this and I was so excited to get it. This wand is very skinny. It's got a little bit of a curve to it and it is a natural wand. I just find that it takes forever to get like a thorough coating on your lashes. There's something about it where it does define, but not enough. It does give you volume, but not enough. So it's very natural. I think that's kind of the vibe with Victoria Beckham Beauty. I'm not 100% sure. It is just like the packaging is a standout. If I just went off packaging alone, it's heavy, it's weighted, it's luxurious, high-end, all those things. But for me personally, I don't love it. I think for people who really want to get an extra amount of curl, there's something about this one because it is like that slight curve that it does help. And it does last because it's not a super thick formula. But I just can't get behind it because it's not gonna do like either really well for me. So that's why it's a little bit lower in my eyes. This is gonna be the longest video ever. Then we have Merit Beauty. This one, what is it called? Lengthening Mascara. Well, that's original. It has a natural wand. This is, again, I would say like this just reminds me of a drugstore wand, which is not bad, but like if you want just a normal bristle wand, this is a good one. I am not 100% confident in saying that this is a tubing mascara. It doesn't come off nicely. Like if you've ever used the Thrive one, even if you don't like it, it comes off like a dream, like the best, the easiest, 100%. If I had to recommend one just for removal, it would be the Thrive. If I had to say one that absolutely I would not recommend for removal, it would be the Merit. I don't mind how it looks. It looks so natural, so light, a little fluffy, more so than defined just because of the wand. But when it comes off, at the end of the day, like, you gotta let it sit. Same with all of these. If you really want to get the full experience, you have to let them like actually form the tubes on your eyes. But this one, even at the end of the day, it comes off in like tiny little flakes, which is just not, I don't know, like the whole point of it isn't necessarily to like have the best removal experience where like you're like, ooh, look at this long tube. But this just doesn't do it for me, and I don't know how to explain it any better than that. But some people love it, and I find that the people that love the Victoria Beckham love this, and I'm just not one of those people. One I am a big fan of though is the number 7 Stay Perfect. This is my second or third tube of this, and I have 22 plus mascaras, so having multiple of any is a big thing for me. This one is a very thin rubber bristle, so if you don't like rubber, this is probably the one you'll like the least, because it has it's just straight, there's no anything. This one does not give you volume. This is going to define your lashes though. So if you want a natural look, but easy to apply, this is the one for you. It doesn't take a lot of coats. It doesn't take a lot of work. It's just easy. You can find it in most drugstores if it's not sold out. It's often sold out. It's really a staple, and I continue to reach for it on days when I want just a minimal mascara look. Another one that is kind of in the same vein is the DHC Double Protection Mascara. This is one of those mascaras that I'd heard about for a long time. It is a tubing mascara. It's a Korean brand, and I really do enjoy this one. It has a very small, kind of like thin wand, but it also kind of has a little bit of a oval shape to the wand. It's a natural bristle wand. This one is great for the lower lashes, and also if you want to just get to the root of your lashes on the top. It gives me natural lashes, but not in a way that like I hate at all. I don't hate natural lashes, but this one, yeah, it's hard to describe it. I reach for this on days when I just want to have like a little bit on my lower lashes. This is perfect for that. I don't necessarily think it's worth the money. I would say like if you want something similar to this, just go with the number 7. That's a little bit cheaper. This one, the Clinique Lash Power Mascara, is almost pretty much, I don't think they might be the same price, so they can't really be considered dupes, but the DHC and the Clinique are so similar in shape and size. I like both of them equally, but I think if I had to go for anything, I would actually go for the Clinique. This one somehow manages, again, you can get to the root of your lash because it is so thin, but it gives me a bit more volume and it holds a curl much better. Not that the DHC doesn't, but this one I find has just done a really good job. It's very light, kind of dry, but not in a bad way, like just like the perfect amount of dry. And it does pretty much everything I want it to do. It's just a little bit, you know, it's not cheap, it's Clinique. Okay, then we have the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. This has been around for so long, and I finally picked it up for this video. It's a smaller kind of wand again, and it has a normal bristle, but these are actually a little bit fuller than the last two, the DHC and the Clinique. So this one definitely can give you a more normal look. I don't want to say natural because it's not voluminous, but it's not super defined. It's like if you just have a normal mascara. Again, this is another great one for the lower lash line. I don't have a ton to say about it. I wouldn't recommend any of these 3 over like everything else. But if you just love MAC or love Clinique or DHC, then I would say go for them. They're just not ones that I would be reticent to recommend to everyone. Also, they're like, I'm pretty sure the same packaging. Look at this. And they all have almost the same wand, so they're probably just repackaged. Okay, now next up is the Causemetics. What is this called? Does it have a name? I think they only have one, so. I just did not like this mascara. It has a plastic wand. It's not as thin as some of the others, but the actual bristles of the plastic wand are so tiny that it's like impossible for me to get any definition. But because it is so small, it also doesn't give me any volume. I've used it so many times thinking like this is gonna be the time that I love it, and that's never happened. I don't know, it gives you natural lashes, but I don't think at like 25, however many dollars it costs, it was worth it at all. If you have any questions on it, like I will definitely go over them, but I'm trying to keep each little one as brief as possible so this video is not an hour long. Okay, this one I found on Amazon. This is called Half Caked Totally Tubular, and I just really enjoy this one. It has a unique wand in that it is bristle, but also kind of like plasticky bristle. It's a unique combination of those two. And then it's also curved a little bit, not a lot, but this one I find that like for a more natural look, it's one of the ones that I do reach for over and over. With that little curve, it does help with actually getting a curl on your lashes. And the removal has been a piece of cake and easy. It's just not, there's nothing about it that just kind of like stands out that makes me want to reach for it. But on days when I'm like, ooh, I'll grab one of the purple ones, I will reach for this 100 times over the Causemetics one. Oh, we've made it to the end. Okay. Oh no, I was leaving these. Okay. This is the Silly George Heart Eyes No Smudge Tubing Mascara. I have found that this is not a tubing mascara though. And maybe it's in the same vein as some of the others, like the Sky High, where it just doesn't leave the raccoon eyes. So that's why people call it a tubing mascara, or that's why the company calls it a tubing mascara. But I don't find that it comes off in the way that I expect a tubing mascara to come off. It also, I'm not sure if they did the same thing that the Blinc one did, where they overstuffed it with formula, but I get a lot of buildup right on the end of it and then around the top of the tube. So it just has like, oh, like so much gunk trying to put it on my eye. Then I get some of it on my eyelid. It's just a messy application and I try to avoid it if I can. It does give you a little bit more volume as opposed to definition. So if that's something you're looking for, I would go for that. But this is definitely on the very end of my list. And the Covergirl Professional Remarkable. There are lists out there that say like drugstore, best drugstore tubing mascara. And I've gone through them all. And I purchased this because of it. This is not a tubing mascara. Do not purchase it. It doesn't even look good. It's so dry. There's nothing I can say that's a redeeming quality about this one. I can't believe I did it. I did it! This video has been in the back of my mind. I've been prepping for it. I've been buying these for so long and I was like, I'm so scared to film it because it's gonna take a long time, but I did it. So, congratulations, Dana. Anyway, I am just gonna wrap things up. I just wanted to make a few notes about mascaras that maybe you're wondering why they're not in this. Like I said at the beginning, I just can't do every single one. And there are a few that I think a lot of people may wonder about. So the first one would be the Heroin Make Long and Curl. I believe it's Korean, maybe Japanese, I can't remember. I tried that one. I will link the video if I can remember which video I did it in. It's impossible to get off. Like you have to have, I guess, a special makeup remover for it. That's not tubing, not in my world. Like tubing means it comes off easily, just not messily. So I did not include that. The other one is the Canbo Sensei 38 degree one. A lot of you have asked me about this. It would cost me like $40 to buy it on Amazon. And I just can't buy a $40 mascara, even if it's on Amazon and I'm getting free shipping. That's not to say that it costs $40. It just, to get it to me in America, for whatever reason, it costs that much. And unless somebody can send it to me for cheaper, I can't I just can't. And then the other two that I kind of mentioned before were the Trish McAvoy. And one day I really should repurchase them. They were the first ones that ever got me hooked on tubing mascaras. They are like $30 each though, so I just kind of stopped buying them when I found better, cheaper ones. But they are wonderful and great. So if you have some like dedication to the brand Trish McAvoy, by all means get those. I literally used them for probably like 8 years, but I just don't buy them anymore. So I think that's it. So this is gonna be a long video, I already know it. I will timestamp everything. If you watched all of it or some of it or parts of it, whatever. If you're watching this right now, thank you. I really appreciate you watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.